What's going on, you guys? As you can see by the title, I've got a big training announcement to make today. If that's something you guys are interested in, please stay tuned. Alright, so I know my title and thumbnail gave it away, but I'm really excited to announce that I'm running my first 10K in May. The decision kind of came about after talking to some people that I work with. Kind of just started out maybe thinking about doing a 5K together, and because we had a hard time kind of setting a date, we had to set it so far out that we thought, okay, why not just do a 10K? We'll increase the distance since we have so much time. So we signed up for the Texas Switchback in Austin, Texas in May, and I'm really excited about it, really nervous. First of all, it's a race in Texas in May, which means it's going to be pretty hot. Also, it's a trail run that I've never done before. I've done a 5K in the past, but it's been just like through like a city scene. Yeah, this is going to be a trail run in the hill country in Austin, Texas. I'm really excited, looking forward to it. So I wanted to start this series to kind of document what training will be like for that. This is my first time running this distance in a race. I ran my very first race last year in May in Pensacola, Florida for a 5K. We were on vacation. I just decided that I wanted to do it then. So I'm going to break this up into different aspects of training. Today, what I mainly want to talk to you about is the way that I'm preparing for the race, the app that I'm using, kind of to give you guys an idea of how you might do it if you decide to race train this year or whenever, really. If you're a seasoned runner, this might not be for you because you probably have your own program and regimen worked in, and maybe you'll pick up something here and there from the video, but this is really more for beginners, more for people that are just getting started in running, training for a race, or even just getting out there and just running for exercise, just for the heck of it. Now, full disclosure, I have to say, I don't enjoy running. I just enjoy getting something done. I like the idea of working towards something and then knocking it out. That's why I did the 5K. I've never been a runner, really. It's just one of those things that's easy for anyone to do. You don't need equipment. You don't need really much of anything. You can do it anywhere. You can run outside, run on a treadmill, run at a park, on a track, whatever, where you want to. Really, your possibilities are pretty wide open. It's something that's pretty accessible for everyone, although it doesn't always feel like it's for everyone. But I'm kind of here to share my experience, and hopefully you guys can relate to it a little bit, and hopefully maybe you'll decide that this is something you want to get into as well. But the main thing I want to talk to you guys about today, like I said, is the app that I'm using to train for this race. I'm using the Nike Run Club app, and I'm also using the Nike Training Club app. Both of these platforms kind of work together to come up with a training program specifically for you. Now, I'm going to do a split screen here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But there's an option under My Coach that allows you to set a race day. It takes in all of your activity level, your weight, how many miles a week that you're currently running. Even if that number is 0, make sure to enter that in so that it'll factor that into the program that it puts out. Also, when you talk about how many days out of the week you could possibly run, be realistic. If you're running 0 times a week right now, don't automatically jump to 5 or 6. Try to start with, just 2 to 3 runs a week. That's probably a good starting point. The thing that I like about this app is that it gives you a variety of ways to train. So you're not just training distance. It helps you train speed and pace and also mobility, which is really important. That's where the Nike Training Club app comes in. It's not just about the running necessarily. Certain days of the week will be devoted to strength training or mobility, and most people that, I feel like most people like me are kind of incorporating running into stuff that they're already doing, whether it's CrossFit, weight training, yoga, Pilates, I keep saying that, but it's kind of just an adjunct to what you're doing. But people that are strictly running, this is really important to consider cross training. Cross training is important for any type of athlete, but when you are super honed into one sport, it's always a good idea to focus on different aspects of core training, flexibility, range of motion, in order to prevent injury, but also to keep you going in your sport for a longer period of time. So I do appreciate Nike for incorporating that into their app. You don't have to do something separately or go down a different trail. Now, do you have to use the mobility workouts they give you? Absolutely not. A lot of the time for my mobility purposes, I have a ROMWOD subscription, so I use that. Or if you do yoga, that's great, do that. As long as you have a way of kind of varying your training, I think that's the best thing to do. Another thing that I really like about the app, it's pretty user-friendly. It keeps track of everything, and it keeps track of your achievements as well. So your fastest 1K, 5K, fastest marathon, when you're getting to that point, it keeps track of your total mileage overall, and it keeps track of not only your pace, your splits. You can use it on a treadmill, you can use it when you're running outside, you just have to switch back and forth between a certain setting. But overall, it's very user-friendly. It kind of walks you through the setup process when you are getting ready to race train. Also, maybe you're not thinking about running one particular race anytime soon, but what you want to do is just get into the habit of running. And this has a couple of different programs in it that is tailored to you. Maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you're looking to work on your endurance or your speed. It has different programs for different training purposes, which I think is really a neat feature. And not to mention, all of this is free. It's totally free. I've never had to make an in-app purchase. I don't even know that it offers in-app purchases, but it's really cool. Also, if you're a big Nike person or just a big shoe person, it allows you to keep track of the shoe that you ran in, which I think is kind of neat. It allows you to rate the difficulty of your run after every run. So if you went super hard on a scale of like 1 to 10, you can give it a 10, or if you're just taking it pretty slow, just rate it a little bit lower. But I am really enjoying this. As you guys are gonna see in the split screen, I've been using this app for a while. I used this when I was 5K training as well, and I think the biggest difference between training for that race then and training for the race now, I'm not really so worried about the distance. I feel even when I was 5K training, I was getting maybe 6 or 7 miles in to one run, just because I wanted to see how far I could go. Now, had I continued training at that level, I wouldn't have to start all over, but I really did stop. And by the end of last year, I wasn't running at all. And so I really had to pick back up at the beginning of this year and just get used to running, continuously a couple of miles. And it has been kind of challenging just because I haven't done it in a while. One thing I will say though is that I feel like doing CrossFit for the past couple of months has helped my running. The reason why I think that is just because CrossFit is a very intense short-term duration workout. The reason why it's so challenging is because I feel like a lot of it is mental, and I feel like a lot of running is mental as well. And here I'm kind of straying away from talking about the app and the ins and outs of training, but one of the hardest things about running to me is just finding the will to keep going and keep doing it day after day. Now, I said before, I don't necessarily enjoy running. I don't necessarily consider myself a runner, but it's something that anybody can do, virtually anybody can do, because it's accessible. You don't need a lot of fancy things to do it. But it can be very mundane and monotonous if you do it every single day, or that's your main form of getting exercise. And if you don't enjoy it, that can make it a little bit more rough. But for me, I always like to think of the long-term outcome of what I'm gonna do. I like to visualize race day and what it's gonna be like with the friends that I'm running with, or just getting across the finish line, accomplishing, getting that new distance. But where was I going with this? Okay, what I was trying to say was a lot of the time when I run, I feel like I suffer from a mental block, this is so boring, you're tired, just stop and rest and just relax. A lot of it has to do with me wanting to push myself, and that's where I feel like CrossFit has helped me. I've done more in the past couple of months progression wise than I have done maybe in like the past couple of years of weight training. And I've kind of mentioned that in a previous video as far as how much weight I'm able to do on certain compound movements, things like that. So that has definitely transferred over into my running training. I feel like I'm able to push myself a little bit more. I am better able to incorporate this into weight training. Usually when you're training for one specific event, it becomes very easy to fall off the other end of the training. So if I'm training for a race, my weightlifting tends to fall off, or my, whatever else that I'm doing. But this time I feel like because CrossFit incorporates cardio and strength and very high intensity, short duration exercises, I'm kind of getting a good mix of activity on a week to week basis. And so incorporating these long distance runs on the weekend and shorter distance runs during the week, I really do feel like my perception of what I'm able to do has changed drastically, which has made my running training significantly more beneficial for me. Okay, so I hope everything I said just made sense. This is just the first video of this series. I'm going to continue talking about training, talking about, everything involved getting up to the day of the race, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to share that with you guys. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below. If not, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Look forward to posting another video like this soon. Bye guys.